Mr. Speaker, sir, may I have your permission to answer questions 8, 9, and 10 in today's order paper?
Please proceed.
Yeah, the government has not made any decision on deploying nuclear energy in Singapore. We are studying the potential for nuclear energy deployment as it is a low-carbon energy source that enhances our energy security. As part of our overall efforts to build capabilities to assess whether the latest nuclear technologies could be suitable for deployment in Singapore, we have set up dedicated nuclear energy teams in the Energy Market Authority, or EMA, and the National Environment Agency, NEA. The EMA and NEA teams are made up of public service officers. They will be adequately resourced to carry out their roles, and they will be collaborating with partners from other governments, as well as with industry and academia. The study commissioned by EMA is focused on helping Singapore understand the safety and the viability of various advanced nuclear power plant technologies. It will not focus on potential sites or deployment timelines, as I've shared right at the beginning, because we have not decided yet we have not made any decision on deploying nuclear energy in Singapore. We will engage the public regularly on the latest developments in nuclear energy to build an informed understanding on nuclear energy. On the 27th of October 2025, we published a background paper on Singapore's nuclear energy capability building journey to share more about the work that we've done thus far. Thank you.
Thank you, Speaker, and thank you, Minister. Many people are quite concerned about the health and also the safety impact of nuclear energy. I'd like to understand what is the strategy, communication strategy, engagement strategy to reach out to more members of public on this aspect. Thank you.
I thank Ms. Poh for her supplementary question. As I've said earlier on, we have not made the decision on whether to deploy nuclear energy technology. However, in the run-up, we've got SNERSI, which is the Singapore Nuclear Research and Safety Institute. We've just upgraded it to an institute. They have actually conducted public education dialogues. At the same time, given that the fact that we've just published a background paper to showcase what our journey has been thus far, we will continuously work with different governments, different jurisdictions, and as the updated safety profiles of these advanced nuclear technology comes on, we will share them with the public to build knowledge, background knowledge, and also to socialize our larger population. Even if we eventually decide that we will not go down the pathway of deploying on our shores, it does not preclude our neighboring countries from deploying on their shores. And that education would involve getting big parts of our population to be socialized to the idea that our neighbors may also deploy that, and what are the safety considerations, the safety measures that we should be undertaking. I hope that gives you that reassurance. Thank you.
Thank you, Speaker. Thank you, Minister, for the comprehensive reply. Can I ask a supplementary question as if Singapore were to decide to have a nuclear reactors for purpose of power generation, the current thinking is that whether would it locate in the far part of Singapore or the offshore island? Second supplementary question is that what's the timeline if we were to decide to build a nuclear plant, what is the time frame? Does it take 10 years or 15 years to build? Thank you.
I thank Mr. Ang for his two SQs. Perhaps you missed the earlier part of the answer. We have not decided. We have not decided whether to deploy nuclear energy technology. So I think it's premature for us, given the fact that we have not decided, to talk about potential deployment sites, and also whether it's going to be on an offshore island whether it's in the sea or underground. The journey over the next few years will allow us to understand many of these advanced nuclear energy technologies, the promise they hold, and while the current thinking is the physics, the engineering works, the commercial feasibility and the viability has still yet to be proven. So as a result, the study is quite focused on comparing the different types of advanced nuclear technology and whether the safety profile, whether the type of outputs that they generate, how efficient they are, will eventually benefit us or not. So as far as the timeline is concerned, we have not even made the decision. I think the timeline is even further out. So I cannot comment in a very definitive manner as to what kind of timelines we are looking at. What I can safely say is from the results of the 2012 study that we have completed, and if you could look back at the report that was released, is that conventional nuclear power, nuclear energy technology, the conventional ones, those that involve very large conventional reactors, is not suitable for Singapore. And hence, we have no plans to even look at deploying those. I hope that gives you that clarity that you need. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, I thank the Minister for his response. Public engagement is a strategic activity for building trust, understanding, and the concerns of the community, and ensuring that local needs and preferences are considered in nuclear project planning. My supplementary question is, could the Ministry elaborate more on plans to enhance public literacy on nuclear technologies, especially among youth and non-technical communities, so that future discussions are informed and inclusive? Thank you.
Thank Dr. Chu for her SQ. Today, as I've shared over the last couple of minutes, that the government is in the process of building capabilities. And this is in line with IAEA, which is the International Atomic Energy Agency's milestones approach. And we are supported by international partners to study this potential deployment with very high standards of safety, security, and safeguards. Now, given that in Singapore we have a very densely populated, very urbanized environment, we want to also not alarm the public. We want to continually engage them regularly on the latest developments in nuclear energy. Now, as I've said earlier on, even if we ultimately decide not to deploy here, it doesn't mean our neighbors will not deploy. So as the regional interest in nuclear powers continues to grow, we want to contemporaneously and progressively prepare our fellow Singaporeans for the potential deployment of nuclear energy in the region. After all, we have a very small footprint. Like what they say always in Mandarin, that 我们是弹丸小国. So we're a very small country. So we have to prepare our population. And what are the mitigating actions that could be taken in the unlikely event of an accident in nuclear energy facilities in the region? And that's what we will proceed on very sure-footed steps. I hope that gives you the reassurance that you need, Dr. Chu. Thank you.
Thank you, Speaker. Given the safety concerns around SMRs, which are light water reactors, under what conditions would the Ministry consider training a cadre of experts in thorium or in molten salt reactors, which have better safety characteristics like running near atmospheric temperature? Thank you.
I thank Mr. Tiong for the question. I think it's important to note that today we have embarked on a slow and steady series of steps for us to first gain understanding on a comparative analysis of the different types of technologies that's available. Now, the ones that he alluded to, molten salt reactor, light water, including thorium, we also need to consider the supply chain. And today, given our understanding of the supply chain for thorium, the concentration risk in terms of the procurement of the supply of thorium is actually quite limited. So today, our focus is still on a number of the newer ones, the small modular reactors, the new generation thermal high-pressure reactors. We have committed, I think, Mott MacDonald to do that study for us. And when we get the results of that study, sometime down the line, we will be able to make a more meaningful comparison. And I'm sure by the time PQs will be filed, I'm happy to update the House again. Thank you.